John Harrison stood at the observation deck of the transport ship, gazing at the massive space station ahead. The Galactic Council headquarters looked like a giant metal flower blooming in the darkness of space, its 6 petal-like sections extending from a central hub. Lights flickered across its surface like stars. "First time seeing it, Ambassador?" asked the pilot. "Yes," John replied, straightening his formal blue uniform, "but hopefully not the last." John was humanity's first official diplomat to the Galactic Council. After decades of distant observation, aliens had finally contacted Earth 3 years ago. Now, humanity sought recognition and a voice among the stars. The transport ship docked with a gentle bump. John took a deep breath, picked up his small case, and walked to the airlock. His heartbeat quickened as the door hissed open. 2 aliens waited on the other side. One had pale blue skin, large eyes, and a slender body. The other was shorter with greenish scales and 4 arms. Both wore similar silver uniforms with different colored symbols. "Ambassador Harrison of Earth, welcome to Galactic Council Station Alpha," said the blue alien with a slight bow. "I am Zalith of Vexara, assigned as your liaison. This is Mrek, your security escort." John bowed in return. "Thank you for the welcome. I'm honored to represent Earth." Zalith led John through wide corridors filled with aliens of different shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others seemed impossible. Floating clouds of light, beings with too many limbs, creatures that changed shape as they moved. "The Council has existed for over 4,000 of your Earth years," Zalith explained as they walked. 12 elder species form the High Council, while 46 others hold various positions. Earth will begin as an observer, if accepted. John nodded. "We understand our place as newcomers." "Good," Zalith said. "The Council values order and calm. Emotional outbursts are considered highly inappropriate." They entered a large room with a view of space. Simple furniture of different sizes filled the space. 5 aliens already waited inside. "Your quarters," Zalith said. "Your team arrived yesterday." A woman with short brown hair approached. "Ambassador, welcome aboard. I'm Olivia Grant, cultural specialist." A tall man with a military bearing stepped forward next. "Captain Steve Daniels, military advisor, sir." The others introduced themselves as the communications expert, the science officer, and the assistant diplomat. All wore the same blue uniforms with Earth's flag patch. After the introductions, Zalith said, "The Council will see you tomorrow. Rest well." The blue alien left with Mrek. Once alone, John's formal posture relaxed slightly. "Report." Olivia spoke first. "Not great, sir. The elder species, especially the Arcturians, view us as primitive. Several representatives have made comments about humans being too emotional or unpredictable." Captain Daniels nodded. "Military assessment. We're severely outmatched. Their technology is centuries beyond ours." "Any allies?" John asked. "The Solari seem friendly," Olivia said. "And the Diraxians are at least respectful. Most others just ignore us." John walked to the window, looking at the star field beyond. "Our mission remains the same. Earth needs this alliance. We can't afford to be left behind as the galaxy develops around us." "Sir," Captain Daniels said hesitantly, "some of the comments I've heard suggest they don't just look down on us. Some seem afraid of humans." John turned, eyebrows raised. "Afraid? Why would advanced species fear us?" Olivia shrugged. "Something about our history, our adaptability. One Tellurian mentioned that we progress too quickly." "Interesting," John said. "We'll use that. Fear can become respect with the right approach." He looked at his small team, Earth's first representatives among the stars. They all seemed tired but determined. "Get some rest," he told them. "Tomorrow we begin the real work. Humanity has waited too long to take its place among the stars. We won't be turned away now." As his team dispersed, John remained at the window. In the reflection of the glass, he could see his own calm face, the carefully neutral expression he had perfected over decades of diplomatic service. But behind that mask, his mind raced with plans and possibilities. Humanity's future among the stars would begin tomorrow. John Harrison intended to make sure it was a long and prosperous one. John adjusted his collar as he stood outside the massive doors to the council chamber. His team waited behind him, faces serious but calm. "Remember," John said quietly, "observe everything, react to nothing." The doors slid open with a soft hum, revealing a vast circular room. 12 raised platforms formed an inner circle where the elder species sat. Behind them, tiered seating held representatives from dozens of other worlds. Zalith appeared at John's side. "Follow me, Ambassador. You will address the council from the center." John walked across the polished floor, aware of hundreds of alien eyes watching his every move. The chamber buzzed with quiet conversations in languages his translator couldn't catch. In the center of the room was a small platform. John stepped onto it and faced the most impressive alien he had seen yet. Ambassador Harrison of Earth. The alien's voice boomed through the chamber. "I am High Chancellor Krex of the Arcturian Dominion and head of this council. You may present your case for observer status." Krex had dark purple skin that seemed to absorb light. 6 yellow eyes arranged in a circle studied John with cold intelligence. The Arcturian's body was massive, easily 3 times John's size. John bowed respectfully. "Honorable Council, I bring greetings from Earth. We seek to join this community of worlds, to learn from your wisdom, and to contribute what we can to galactic peace and prosperity." His short speech continued, highlighting Earth's achievements while carefully avoiding any mention of war or conflict. When he finished, the chamber remained silent. Finally, a counselor with feathered skin spoke. "Your species has only recently achieved space travel. What could Earth possibly offer the Council?" Before John could answer, another counselor with translucent skin interrupted. "More concerning is your history of violence. Humans seem to solve problems with force rather than reason." John kept his face neutral. "We have indeed faced challenges in our development, but we have grown beyond many of our past mistakes." High Chancellor Krex raised a massive hand for silence. "The Council will deliberate. You are dismissed until tomorrow." As John and his team left the chamber, Captain Daniels whispered, "That went about as well as expected." Back in their quarters, the team gathered to discuss the meeting. Olivia pulled up data on her tablet. "The Arcturians control most of the council votes," she explained. "They have the largest territory and the strongest military. The Solari and Tellurians sometimes oppose them, but rarely succeed." John nodded. "And where do we fit in this power balance?" "Nowhere yet," Captain Daniels said bluntly. "We're too new, too unknown." A soft chime interrupted them. The door slid open to reveal a slender alien with skin that glowed faintly gold. "Ambassador Harrison, I am Lumi of the Solari Confederation. May I enter?" John welcomed the alien in. Lumi's movements were graceful, almost like dancing. "I speak unofficially," Lumi said once the door closed. "The Arcturians will oppose your membership. They fear new species, especially adaptive ones like yours." "Why tell us this?" John asked. Lumi's glow dimmed slightly. "The balance of power shifts. The Arcturians expand their territory constantly. Those who resist disappear." "Are you suggesting the Arcturians are dangerous?" Olivia asked. "I am suggesting caution," Lumi replied. "Make allies where you can. The Diraxians control many trade routes. The Tellurians have medical technology you might find valuable. Build relationships." After Lumi left, the team sat in silence for a moment. "Well," John finally said, "it seems we have work to do. Olivia, research every species on the Council. Find potential allies. Steve, quietly assess their military capabilities." "Do you think Lumi was telling the truth?" Olivia asked. John looked out at the stars. "I think we've stepped into something much more complex than a simple diplomatic mission. Earth needs allies, but we need to choose them carefully. The next day, John stood before the council again. High Chancellor Krex looked down at him with those unblinking yellow eyes. Earth is granted provisional observer status for 1 standard year, Krex announced. You may attend open sessions only. You have no vote or voice unless invited to speak. John bowed deeply. The people of Earth thank you for this opportunity. As he straightened, he caught Lumi's subtle nod from across the chamber. In another corner, he noticed a reptilian Duraxian watching him with interest. The game had begun. John would need all his diplomatic skills to navigate this dangerous new universe. Earth's future might depend on it. 3 weeks passed. John sat in daily council meetings, watching and learning. Earth's team had made small progress with a few species, but most still viewed humans with suspicion. John was reviewing reports in his quarters when his communication device buzzed urgently. The screen showed Priority UEMESSAG Earth Command. John accepted the call. General Carter's face appeared, looking grave. Ambassador Harrison, we have an emergency. New Horizon colony is under attack. John felt his stomach drop. New Horizon was humanity's first off-world colony, with over 5,000 settlers. What happened? Who's attacking? Unknown ships appeared without warning. They bypassed all defense systems. We've lost contact with most of the colony. The general sent footage showing dark ships firing on settlement buildings. People ran screaming as structures collapsed. The video quality was poor, filled with static. This was sent by Governor Wells before we lost contact, the general explained. John studied the blurry images of the attacking ships. Something about their design seemed familiar. I'll bring this to the council immediately, John said. There's more, the general said. The attackers used technology that matched nothing in our database, but their weapons' signatures show energy patterns similar to what we've observed from Arcturian vessels. John's face hardened. Understood. I'll contact you after I speak with the council. After ending the call, John summoned his team. He showed them the footage and explained the situation. This is exactly what Lumi warned us about, Olivia said. Captain Daniels studied the ship images. The design is different, but the weapon signatures are consistent with Arcturian technology. We need council help, John said. Prepare the evidence. We request an emergency session now. 2 hours later, John stood in the council chamber. Only 7 of the 12 elder species were present. High Chancellor Krex looked annoyed at the unexpected meeting. Ambassador Harrison, this better be important. Emergency sessions are not called for trivial matters. John's voice remained calm despite his anger. Earth's colony, New Horizon, is under attack by unknown forces. Thousands of lives are at risk. He played the footage. Some council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Others showed no reaction. The attack ships use weapons with energy signatures matching Arcturian technology, John continued. Krex's yellow eyes narrowed. A serious accusation, Ambassador. Do you have proof these are Arcturian weapons? The energy signatures could be copied or falsified, Krex interrupted. Or perhaps this is merely an internal human conflict you wish to blame on others. John kept his expression neutral with effort. People are dying. We request council assistance to protect our colony. A Tellurian councillor spoke. The colony is outside council space. We have no authority there. And no obligation, added another councillor. John looked around the chamber, seeing mostly indifference. Will the council at least investigate these attacks? Krex's voice hardened. The council does not act on unverified claims from observer species. Your request is denied. As John left the chamber, Lumi approached quietly. This is not the first time this has happened. What do you mean? 3 other emerging species lost outposts in the past cycle. All claimed Arcturian involvement. All were ignored. What happened to those species? 2 accepted Arcturian protection. The 3rd refused, and their application for council membership was denied. Back in his quarters, John received another message from Earth. Governor Patricia Wells had managed to send one more transmission from a hidden bunker. The attackers are methodical, her tired voice reported. They're not just destroying infrastructure. They're hunting down colonists. This isn't random violence. It's systematic elimination. The screen showed a blurry image captured from a security camera. An armored figure stood over fallen humans. Though the image was distorted, John could clearly see a symbol on the armor, a symbol he had seen on Arcturian military officials during council functions. They're jamming our distress signals, Governor Wells continued. We need help immediately. The colony cannot survive without assistance. The transmission ended with static. John stared at the frozen image on his screen, his diplomatic mask finally cracking to reveal cold fury underneath. Captain Daniels, he said quietly, contact Earth Command. Tell them to prepare a response outside Council jurisdiction and find me everything we have on Arcturian military capabilities. The time for diplomatic patience was ending. John paced in his quarters, reviewing plans with his team. 3 days had passed since the Council rejected his plea for help. Earth Command has dispatched 2 ships to New Horizon, Captain Daniels reported, but they won't arrive for another week. Too long, John said. We need allies here. Olivia nodded. I've been making connections with representatives from smaller species. Many have similar stories about Arcturian aggression. Bring them here, quietly, John ordered. Tonight. That evening, 5 alien representatives gathered in the human quarters. Security systems were disabled to ensure privacy. A reptilian Diraxian named Vex spoke first. My people control many trade routes. The Arcturians have been seizing our outposts one by one. When we complained to the Council, they did nothing. A small furry alien called Mila nodded. The same happened to my world, Elora. We lost 2 mining colonies last year. John listened as each told similar stories. The pattern was clear. The Arcturians targeted resources, eliminated witnesses, and the Council ignored all complaints. Why does the Council allow this? John asked. Vex's scaled face showed bitterness. The Arcturians control the largest military force. Many Council members fear them. Others benefit from their conquests. Lumi, who had also joined the meeting, added, the 12 elder species maintain power by ensuring no newcomers grow strong enough to challenge them. We need proof the Arcturians are behind these attacks, John said. Vex leaned forward. My traders sometimes travel outside approved routes. For the right price, they might deliver supplies to your colony. And gather intelligence, John added, understanding. Exactly. The Tellurians might help too, said Mila. They're known for their medical skills. I know someone who could send medical supplies through Diraxian traders. John felt hope for the first time in days. We build our own alliance then. Outside Council oversight. The meeting continued late into the night. By morning, a plan had formed. The Diraxians would smuggle supplies to New Horizon while gathering evidence. The Elorans would provide advanced communication devices to bypass Arcturian jamming. The Tellurians would send medical aid. 5 days later, Vex returned with a data chip. His reptilian face looked grim. My traders reached New Horizon. What they found. He paused. You should see for yourself. The footage showed the colony in ruins. More disturbing were the images of colonists being executed by armored soldiers. The soldiers communicated using Arcturian military codes. This is genocide, Olivia whispered, her face pale. Captain Daniels studied the soldiers' equipment. Their weapons, armor, ships, all Arcturian military design, not even modified. There's more, Vex said. My traders intercepted communications between the attack force and a command ship. The encryption is Arcturian military grade. John's jaw tightened. We have our proof. What will you do? Lumi asked. First, we send aid immediately. John turned to Captain Daniels. Coordinate with Vex. I want medical supplies, weapons, and communication equipment on the next Diraxian ship. The Arcturians may intercept it, Vex warned. Then we'll know they're monitoring Diraxian ships, which proves they're involved. As the others left to prepare the shipments, Lumi stayed behind. John, there's something you should know. The Council fears humans. Why? We're centuries behind in technology. Not technology. Your nature. Lumi's golden skin glowed softly. Most species took thousands of years to develop space travel. Humans did it in less than a century. You adapt quickly, learn quickly, fight fiercely. The Arcturians convinced the Council that humanity will become a threat. So they decided to eliminate us before we could grow stronger, John said, understanding. Yes, the Arcturians proposed containment of Earth. That's why they targeted your first colony. John sat heavily in his chair. How many Council members support this? Most of the elder species, but many smaller species would stand with humans if given the chance. The next day, John received word that the aid ship to New Horizon had been intercepted by Council peacekeepers who confiscated all supplies. Captain Daniels looked grim. They're not even hiding their actions anymore. John nodded slowly. Then neither will we. Prepare a formal petition to the full Council. It's time to force this issue into the open. The real battle was about to begin. John stood before his mirror, straightening his formal diplomatic uniform. Today he would present his petition to the full Council. The evidence against the Arcturians was strong, but would it be enough? A soft chime announced a visitor. John opened the door to find Zalith, his Vexaran liaison. Ambassador Harrison, I've come to speak privately, Zalith said, glancing nervously down the corridor. John invited him in. The blue-skinned alien seemed troubled. What I am about to say could end my career, Zalith began. But I cannot remain silent. I'm listening. The attack on your colony was not a random act. 6 months ago, High Chancellor Krex presented a report to the Inner Council about Earth. He called humans a destabilizing element that needed containment. John's expression remained neutral, but his mind raced. Why tell me this now? Because I've seen this before. The Arcturians labeled the Novan civilization as dangerous 80 years ago. Now the Novans are extinct. Zalith's large eyes blinked slowly. I do not wish to see history repeat itself. After Zalith left, John briefed his team. Captain Daniels punched a wall in anger. They're planning to wipe us out, and we're still playing diplomatic games. Diplomacy is our best weapon right now, John replied calmly. But we need more evidence. As if on cue, Olivia's communication device buzzed. It's from Vex. His traders made another run to New Horizon. They gathered around to view the new footage. What they saw left them speechless. The video showed Arcturian soldiers rounding up human colonists. Then came the executions, methodical, emotionless. Men, women, even children, shot one by one. This isn't war, Olivia whispered. It's extermination. The footage continued, showing Arcturian officers examining human technology, taking samples of human crops and animals. One officer spoke clearly. Standard containment protocol. All human biological material must be cataloged before destruction. John watched with a face of stone. Only the slight tremor in his hands revealed his rage. We present this to the Council tomorrow, he said. Copy the evidence to multiple secure locations. If anything happens to us, Earth needs to know. The next morning, all 12 elder Council members gathered. Many representatives from smaller species also attended, alerted by rumors of John's petition. High Chancellor Krex looked down from his elevated platform. Ambassador Harrison has requested this session to discuss the unfortunate situation at the human colony. Proceed, Ambassador. John walked to the center of the chamber. Honorable Council, I come with evidence of crimes against humanity. He played the footage. Gasps echoed through the chamber as the executions appeared on the main display. John watched the Council members' reactions carefully. Some seemed genuinely shocked. Others, including Krex, showed no surprise. These soldiers use Arcturian weapons, Arcturian ships, and Arcturian military codes, John continued. They speak of containment protocol while executing civilians. Before he could continue, Krex interrupted. This is clearly manufactured evidence. Ambassador Harrison insults the Council with these fabrications. A new voice spoke. The evidence is authentic. All heads turned to see a Tellurian counselor stand. Our analysts confirm these are indeed Arcturian military units. Krex's voice turned cold. The human colony was developing biological weapons. Our intelligence confirmed this threat. The Arcturian Dominion acted to protect the galaxy. That's a lie. John's voice rose slightly before he controlled it again. New Horizon was a farming settlement. We have evidence proving otherwise, Krex said. A new video appeared, showing humans in labs creating what appeared to be weapons. John recognized the deception immediately. That's not New Horizon. Those aren't even our colony buildings. But doubt had spread through the chamber. The council members whispered among themselves. Krex raised his hand for silence. In light of this concerning evidence, I propose Earth be placed under protective supervision. All human settlements will be monitored by council peacekeepers until the threat is contained. John watched in disbelief as the vote was called. One by one, the elder species voted. The result: 8 in favor, 4 opposed. The motion passes, Krex announced. Arcturian peacekeepers will deploy to Earth immediately. As the chamber erupted in voices, John stood motionless. The Arcturians had not only attacked a human colony, they had now legalized an invasion of Earth itself. And the Council had approved it. John and his team huddled in their quarters, faces grim. The Council's decision to place Earth under protective supervision was a thinly veiled approval for invasion. We have 12 hours before the Council officially notifies Earth, Captain Daniels said. Once that happens, the Arcturians will immediately deploy their fleet. Can Earth defend itself? Olivia asked. Daniels shook his head. Not against their technology. We'd lose millions in the first wave alone. John stared out the window at the vast station. There must be a way to stop this. A soft knock interrupted them. When they opened the door, Lumi slipped inside. The small species are in turmoil, the Solari said. Many fear they will be next if the Arcturians succeed with Earth. Can they help us? John asked. Not openly, but I have information. Lumi handed John a data chip. This contains records of 6 other emerging species who faced similar accusations in the past century. All were placed under protective supervision. John loaded the data. Images appeared of planets surrounded by Arcturian ships. Reports detailed how these worlds lost independence, their resources harvested, their people reduced to laborers. This isn't protection, John said. It's colonization. Exactly, Lumi replied. The Arcturians used the Council to legitimize conquest. They've been doing it for centuries. Another knock came at the door. This time it was Vex, the Diraxian trader. My ships intercepted a transmission from the Arcturian command vessel, he said. They're not waiting for official approval. Their fleet is already moving toward Earth. John's face hardened. How long? 3 days at most. John paced the room, thinking quickly. We need to delay them. He turned to Captain Daniels. Contact Earth immediately. Tell them to prepare all defenses. What will you do? Lumi asked. Request one final council hearing. If I can create enough doubt among the elder species, some might withdraw support. A dangerous game, Vex warned. The Arcturians won't tolerate opposition. I'm beyond caring about their tolerance, John replied. The next day, John formally requested an emergency session. To his surprise, the request was granted. As he prepared his case, Governor Wells of New Horizon made contact through a hidden communication channel. Her face on the screen looked haggard, with burns on one side. Ambassador Harrison, I don't have much time. A colony is falling. They've taken the main settlement. Patricia, we're sending help, John said, though he knew it might be too late. Listen carefully, she said, her voice urgent. "They're not just killing us. They're studying us, taking samples, testing weapons effects on our bodies. This isn't war. It's research." The transmission crackled with interference. "I sent you proof. Use it. And John, remember who we are." The screen went dark. Moments later, a data file arrived. John reviewed it with horror. The footage showed Arcturian scientists examining human remains, testing weapons on live prisoners, documenting results. "This goes beyond conquest," Olivia said, her voice shaking. "They're treating humans like lab specimens." Captain Daniels looked sick. "They want to understand how to kill us most efficiently." "Why?" "Fear," John replied. "Zalith said they consider us a threat to stability." As the council session approached, John made a difficult decision. He sent a coded message to Earth with all the evidence they had gathered, along with a single instruction: prepare liberation protocol. Only Captain Daniels recognized the code. "Sir, that's a military response. Earth will deploy the fleet." "Yes," John said, "but not to New Horizon. To the other oppressed worlds we've identified." Understanding dawned on Daniel's face. "We're building a coalition." John nodded. "The Arcturians expect us to defend. Instead, we'll liberate their other victims, turning them into allies. The Council will see this as an act of war," Olivia warned. "No," John said, his voice steady. "They'll see it as an act of justice." As they walked toward the council chamber for what might be their final appearance, Captain Daniels asked quietly, "What's our strategy in there?" John's eyes were cold and determined. "Truth. No more diplomatic games. It's time the council faces what they've become." The massive doors to the chamber opened. John walked in, carrying the final transmission from Governor Wells. Whatever happened next would determine the fate of humanity. John entered the council chamber alone this time. His team remained outside, coordinating with their new allies. The room felt colder than before, with tension hanging in the air. High Chancellor Krex looked down from his platform. "Ambassador Harrison, the Council has granted your request for a final hearing before protective measures begin. What do you wish to say?" John stood tall in the center of the chamber. "I have received a final transmission from New Horizon Colony." Without waiting for permission, he activated the display. Governor Patricia Wells appeared on screen, her face bloody but defiant. "This is my final report from New Horizon," she began. "The Arcturian forces have breached our last defenses. They're not just killing us. They're experimenting on us." The footage showed laboratories where humans were being dissected. Scientists in Arcturian uniforms took notes as weapons were tested on live subjects. Gasps and murmurs filled the chamber. Even some elder species seemed disturbed by the images. "These are not the actions of peacekeepers," Sean said as the footage ended. "This is systematic extermination." High Chancellor Krex's voice boomed through the chamber. "These accusations are outrageous. The footage is clearly manipulated. The verification codes are authentic," a Tellurian counselor said. "This came directly from the human colony." "Even if true," Krex continued, "these measures are necessary. Our scientists have determined that humans represent a long-term threat to galactic stability. Their aggression, adaptability, and rapid development make them unpredictable." John looked around the chamber. "Is this what the Council has become? A tool for genocide in the name of stability?" Before Krex could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. A communication officer rushed in and whispered to one of the counselors. The counselor stood, looking shocked. "Reports are coming in of attacks on Arcturian outposts in 6 sectors. Earth vessels are freeing enslaved populations." Chaos erupted in the chamber. Krex's yellow eyes fixed on John with pure hatred. "What have you done?" the Arcturian demanded. "Exactly what you feared," John replied calmly. "We adapted." John turned to address the entire council. "While you debated our fate, Earth launched Operation Liberation. Our ships are freeing worlds that have suffered under Arcturian protection. We offer them true alliance instead of slavery." Screens around the chamber showed Earth vessels engaging Arcturian ships near various planets. On some worlds, the oppressed populations were rising up against their overseers. "This is an act of war," Krex roared. "No," John said firmly. "This is an act of justice." He turned to the representatives of smaller species who watched from the gallery. "For too long, the Council has served the interests of the elder species while ignoring the suffering of others. Today, that changes." Several representatives stood in support. First the Duraxians, then the Illorans, followed by others. Krex slammed his massive fist down. "Guards, arrest the human ambassador." Arcturian security forces moved toward John, but they stopped when representatives from 6 different species stepped between them and John. "If you arrest him, you must arrest us all," Lumi said. The chamber fell silent as more representatives joined the protective circle around John. The Arcturian guards hesitated, looking to Krex for orders. John received an urgent message on his device. He read it, then closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them, his expression was one of deep sorrow mixed with resolve. "I've just received word that New Horizon has fallen. The last human settlement was overrun an hour ago." His voice remained steady despite his grief. Governor Wells' final words were, "Remember who we are." John looked directly at Krex. "We remember. We are not just explorers or diplomats. When pushed, when our people are threatened, we become something else entirely." The chamber grew still as John's demeanor changed. The calm diplomat seemed to transform before their eyes. His voice took on a new quality, powerful, primal, filled with controlled fury. "You wanted to contain humanity because you feared what we might become," he said. "You were right to be afraid." The council chamber fell silent as John Harrison stepped onto the central platform. For 3 months, he had played by their rules, spoken their language of restraint and protocol. That time was over. "High Chancellor Krex," John said, his voice carrying to every corner of the vast room. "Before this council votes on the future of Earth, I request permission to address the Assembly one final time." Krex's yellow eyes narrowed with suspicion, but council tradition demanded he agree. "Proceed, Ambassador, but know that the decision regarding Earth has already been made." John nodded and turned to face the entire chamber. Representatives from dozens of worlds watched him with a mixture of fear, curiosity, and hope. "When I arrived here, I came offering friendship," John began. "I believed in the Council's stated mission of peace and cooperation. I was wrong." He activated a holographic display showing the ruins of New Horizon Colony. Bodies of men, women, and children lay in the streets. "This is what Arcturian peace looks like," John said. "This is what awaits any world that challenges their authority." The images shifted to show other worlds under protective supervision. Populations laboring in mines, children in work camps, entire cities reduced to ash. For centuries, the elder species have used this council to maintain power while enslaving others. John continued. "The Arcturians eliminate any civilization they cannot control. And you," he looked at the other council members, "you have allowed it." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some representatives nodded in agreement. Others looked away in shame. "Today, Earth says no more." John's voice grew stronger. "We have formed an alliance with 6 other oppressed worlds. Our ships are liberating Arcturian-held territories even now. We offer a different path. True cooperation, not domination." Krex rose from his seat, towering over everyone. "This is treason. Guards, execute the human and anyone who stands with him." Arcturian guards moved forward, weapons raised. But they stopped when the doors burst open. Captain Daniels entered with Olivia and representatives from the allied species. More importantly, armed forces from these worlds stood with them. "The station security center is now under Allied control," Daniels announced. "All communications have been secured." Krex roared with rage. "You dare to seize a council facility. The Arcturian fleet will reduce your planet to ash." "Your fleet is currently engaged with our forces near Diraxian space," John replied calmly, "and ships from 3 other liberated worlds have joined them." On the main display, footage appeared showing a massive space battle. Earth vessels fought alongside ships of various designs against Arcturian warships. "This is your last warning, human," Krex hissed. "Surrender now, or your species dies." John took a deep breath. He thought of Governor Wells' final words, "Remember who we are." The calm diplomat vanished, replaced by something ancient and primal. John's posture changed, becoming that of a warrior. He planted his feet firmly and filled his lungs. Then, John Harrison released a thunderous war cry that echoed through the chamber. It was the Ki, the traditional Hawaiian battle cry once used by warriors to strike fear into enemies' hearts. The powerful sound vibrated through the air, shocking everyone to silence. When the echo faded, John spoke in a voice filled with power and determination. "You mistake our patience for weakness, our restraint for fear. Humanity comes offering friendship, but we will not bow to tyranny. We stand for our fallen, for justice, and for all species you have silenced." The chamber remained frozen in shock. Never in the Council's history had anyone broken decorum so completely. "Earth has already contacted every world under Arcturian control," John continued. "We offer them freedom, not new masters. Today you face not just humanity, but all who would be free." As if on cue, representatives from multiple species stood up around the chamber. First a few, then dozens. "The Liberation Alliance is formed," John declared, "and we are Legion." Krex signaled his personal guards, who raised their weapons. But before they could fire, several council members stood. "The Council recognizes the Liberation Alliance," declared the Tellurian elder, removing his council insignia. "The time for change has come." One by one, council members chose sides. Some joined the alliance, others remained loyal to the old order. The galaxy's power structure changed forever in those moments. As Arcturian guards surrounded Krex, John looked out at the divided chamber. The battle was just beginning, but the first victory was won. Humanity had found its voice among the stars, and it was a battle cry that would echo through the galaxy for generations to come.